Hello and welcome along to another edition of the Extra Time Unlocked on Gaga CFM Sports. It's a couple of days after the Rugby World Cup final, but the country is still celebrating. The Springboks are world champions once again. We got our very own version of the Webb Ellis Trophy right here in studio. But the Boks are the world champions, welcoming Ending Ngcobo Mtakababa. Obviously, first of all, let me say congratulations. You are a South African. You are a world champion once again. You called it many times during the knockout stages of the Rugby World Cup. Siya final futhi against our All Blacks. You called it once again. We are world champions.
Mfethu sekunjalo mlomo ngathethi imanga mfethu mthakathi wendaba sefikile
Usukhona
umfana wakho kusefikile njengoba ngangishilo baba since the beginning of the World Cup. I told you final against New Zealand and we shall win, and that we have done,
and when we did. So 12-11 at the end. It was an epic World Cup final, one of the most highly contested we've seen in the history of the Rugby World Cup. Only one try in it that was scored by our All Blacks. They got a red card in the first half for Sam Cane leaving the field. We got a couple of yellow cards, Siya Kolisi, Cheston Kobe, but the gods were just with us with this one.
The rugby gods were with us, my friend. I think it was just a story that was written in the stars for us, and that's how it happened, and that's how it finished off. And the boys did what they had to do. They've played for the country. They played for themselves. Who else could we have played for?
Yeah. How do you... I know it's a couple of days after the final. We've had time to reflect. What exactly did the Boks do right in this one? We talked about the England game, the France game. All three games were separated by just 1 point. But yini le eyenziwa ama Springboks kule game that... Even though our All Blacks came back hard in the second half, there were 14 men down, but there were 14 men on the field. But bakwazile ukuthi babuye and give us a run for our money. But what is it about the Boks that they did right ukuze bawine lo mdlalo?
First, like I've said before and I'll say it again, defense wins you titles. Whether it's any sport, if you defend well and you put that pressure on the opposition, and that's all we did. From the France game all the way, we kept the same DNA, same pattern of play, same defense structure. It was always there. You saw the Peter Steph 28 tackles. I think the second guy was on 26 tackles from South Africa. So defense pattern was on point. I think one of the best. As you know, our head coach is a defensive coach, so we know what we're expecting from that. So and to only concede that one try in the final, I thought it would be maybe one or two, but they did score two, but disallowed the other one. So. Yeah, but defense it was on point the whole World Cup, and then obviously the magic word, yes, from point A to point B, from the start of the tournament, I think the way we played, we just kept it there, and the way we did our subs, the different splits, we knew what we were doing, and like we said, Unenaba said, the 7-1 split is what they believed would win the World Cup, and that's what they did.
And also, another thing that was very key for me, ukubuka leya game, it really did feel like it was written in the stars ukuthi amaBhokobhoko azowina because of the amount of chances that the All Blacks had ukuthi bawine umdlalo. They had a disallowed try for, I think it was a knock-on or a forward pass. Richie Mo'unga failed to convert that try, and there was also a penalty that they missed with Barrett. So many opportunities for the All Blacks to win, but it just didn't happen for them on the day.
Yeah, and if you watch as well, They planned well for us, but in the first half, if you watch the way they played in the first half and the last 20, they didn't play to their DNA in the first half. They tried to counter-attack what we did and whatnot, and we stuck to our guns, and that was the one thing that pulled us through the whole way. We got our penalties. Andre Pollard was there. He did what he needed to do. In this particular game, I think we had one opportunity of scoring where Siya in the second half had the 3-on-1, could have gone either way to the wings, and we would have scored. But other than that, the way we were playing, we played test match rugby. We were there to get the points and the penalties, strangle them, and just not get them to play wide like they did when they scored the try. So, Tina besizele uzowina World Cup ukuthi siwina kanjani, that didn't matter. Yeah.
So, two-time world champions. This a group of Springbok players, but obviously overall we have 4 World Cups now. But where does is this the greatest Springbok team of all time? Given the fact that they've won Ama World Cups, Amabili together, they also won the British and Irish Lions and the Rugby Championship together.
Yeah, you could say it's the greatest. It all depends on what you think is the greatest. But this achievement think in 2 World Cups, you're only losing 2 games and winning the World Cup. Not many people can boast and say they've done that. So for us as a nation, that was good. And for the reasons that they played for. So I think in past years we've just played and these guys have actually given us hope in different aspects of our lives. So that's been a good thing.
Yeah.
And it was just a nice group of players. I think I was listening to an interview yesterday. All the players that were there, I don't think it was ever mentioned either Quota or players of colour or anything. Everybody was there on merit. Everybody put up their hand and played. You even saw how upset Cheslin was when he got that yellow card, how much it meant to them. So all the players were there on merit and were there to do the job and were the best in their position on the day.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, one thing that I've struggled with the tournament in terms of reflecting on it and trying to decide who was the player of the tournament for the Springboks in particular in this World Cup, because there were so many players who were able to pick their hands up. Abafana bakwazi ukuthi badlale in the knockout stages, bangadlala ngisho kwi-final, the likes of Umani Libok, Kobus Reinach also missing out. But who would you pinpoint as the most crucial player in the Springbok team? I know it's probably unfair to pick out just one. Ngoba bonke badlale kahle. It's always a team effort. But if you had to pick your player of the tournament, who would you pick?
I think the way that we've played in this World Cup, we've had many captains in different roles and many players in different roles. So it's kind of hard to single out one player because we've played in a way that everybody has a opportunity to display their talents and everybody has a role they must play.
Yeah.
And in that role, it fits into a bigger puzzle. So we weren't depending, like if you watch the French, their captain was very crucial for them, even though when he got injured, it was a big thing for him to come back. So I don't think we had that one player that we said, if he didn't play, it was Shubela. But yeah, everybody just put up their hand, did their roles, and that put up a good effort for the team, a very big team effort. So yeah, this was more of a team effort, I think, this campaign of this World Cup compared to 2019. So yeah, if I try to think off the top of my head who to buy, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because they
played so well together.
Yeah.
And you Skulu Mangala, we always go back to these 3 games in the knockout stages and how close they were and how everyone had to fight and grind.
Yeah.
That's why it's so difficult to pick just one standout player.
I even saw that World Rugby's 15-man team. We only had one guy there, Eben Pad.
Yeah.
Which in another way I understand, another way I don't. It's because our guys were so much of it was a collective thing. No one ever stood above the team.
Yeah.
Which, for once, that's what teamwork is about. That all of us are on par. If we're rated out of 10, I think you'd rate the guys mostly 8 out of 10, and that's it. That was the line. Obviously, we had Peter Steff being man of the match with his crazy gestures, that defense, that boy.
Sure. So many tackles.
Yeah,
so many crucial tackles.
I think, I must single one guy out off the top of my head.
Another tough question. Nalombuzo unzima ke ngiyazi because abantu abaningi abakawucabangisisi kahle, and that is obviously uJacques Nienaber is leaving the team now. He's going to Ireland to coach Leinster, and the succession of uJacques Nienaber now. For
me, it's easy.
Ngikathi khamba uRassie Erasmus, obviously it was in-house, but that's uJacques from defense coach to head coach, and then Nienaber went to be director. uRassie went to be director of rugby. Is it the same approach now with doing that going forward, or do we look outside?
I think from my side, and I think for Rassie's plan, is to keep the succession, groom the guys from within, and the guys step up. As you've seen now, we've got the likes of Damon Willemse, who's 25, has won 2 World Cups. Kenan Moody is 20, he's won a World Cup. You've got all these youngsters that have been groomed in for a reason. If we were to take someone from outside, I think he would spoil that foundation we've built. So I think the structure is nice, and I think my next guy to be the next Springbok coach, not just because of any political reason or anything, but it is well deserved, is Sticks. So Stick, he's been there. He's worked hard. He's worked at the Springboks. When people doubted him, he just sat there and Rassie's believed in him. And I think he's got that leadership skill because you've seen he's coached the B teams.
Yes.
And so he's the SAA side. So he's been given that opportunity, and we've seen him in press conferences as well. He's talked to the media, he's handled the media well. So I think that's what he's been groomed for.
As well.
And the relationship with the players is very good. The players like him. So for us to get this far, to break what we have, I think would be madness. So you'd have to work from within. And obviously then you'd obviously have to bring in guys. I think in the lineman camp with that one SAA side, we had the guys who like or defense or Joy Mongoli and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the foundation has been built and we're going to work on that. So I can't see someone from outside, if he comes in, he'll come in and work his way up. He won't just come in and head in what we already have.
Ne, so succession plan from inside.
Yeah.
Hayi Mapolob, usindlalele kahle yonke into throughout the World Cup from the very beginning, match day 1 up until the final. You were backing the boys 100% all the way,
100%.
like we have always done. But sibonge kakhulu Mntakababa, it's been a real pleasure, obviously covering Rugby World Cup with you. But the Boks are champions now. It would
Not
have been
even
very
but
bitter.
we deserve to be champions.
It would have been very bitter. Sekuthiwa siyashutha after ifinal
Hey,
esidliwe. Noma
asidliwe.
sifika kwi-final. So big ups to the boys for doing their part, and obviously South Africa with the support.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say, thank you for balaleli fit ukulalela ulwazi lami oluncane. And Saturday the Boks are in town, so let's all get out in our numbers and go support and see that trophy.
Of course, the trophy tour will start izoqala eGoli yehle njalo izofika eThekwini ngomgqibelo. That's going to be, of course, happening in Durban throughout the city. So we're looking forward to that. But it's a wrap for Extra Time Unlocked for this week, and we're looking forward to having more chats again next week.
Siyabonga.